Hi everyone, welcome to Essential Skills. My name is Melissa Daly and thanks for tuning in today. Today we are going to continue our topic talking about healthy habits. And as we age, as we're getting older, it's so important to take the time out to understand how to be healthy, to take those steps, even those small steps, to be healthy so that we can be mentally and physically ready for work and for our home lives, our social lives, and better prepared to pass on to our kids, to our friends and our family members how important it is to be healthy. So this is a continuation of 21A. So I'm really looking forward to today's show. I have a lot of great new information for you. So this show is called Essential Skills. It's an adult basic education class brought to you by the San Juan Unified School District, and this class is part of a program called Distance Learning, so you can watch us on TV here on this channel and learn from home. As of right now, my show is on Mondays and Wednesdays from 2 to 3, and this is a paperless class, so my TV show here has a supplemental web page, so if you are a registered student, you must have an email address and internet access to be registered, and I expect you to make email contact with me and to access my web page as this show goes on, at least once a week. This class teaches workplace skills and types of skills such as how to prepare for a job interview, how to dress for an interview. We also talk about professional grammar in the workplace, business math. I show you lots of DVDs, including all types of math types of functions such as percents and decimals and also algebra. And we also focus on reading, writing skills, and also lifelong skills, which is going to be part of this show, Healthy Habits. So you can come to Sunrise Tech Center, that's the headquarters of distance learning, and you can learn more about the classes that we offer at the Tech Center, and also we have another school, Winterstein Adult Center, on the other side of town at Fair Oaks and Morse, and we offer classes there too. And we also have a DVD library at both centers where you can check out DVDs if you would like to improve your skills in the GED subjects, every subject that's offered on that test, from social studies to statistics, all the types of math programs and writing topics you can find at the DVD library, including English as a second language. We also tell you about the Sacramento Works Career Center, which is a really great resource if you would like to improve your job skills or get some career counseling. The number is 676-2540. The website is www.seta.net, and there you can find and download a list of all the courses that they offer. They offer free workshops and seminars, and here's a computer lab that they have there. If you don't have a computer at home or you'd like to have regular access to the internet, you can use the computer there. And here is a bulletin board just full of classes and different opportunities for you there at the Sacramento Works Career Center, and they're located in Citrus Heights. Really easy to find. And that's their phone number. So I'd like to make sure that you know that these resources are available to you as an adult if you are looking to improve your job skills, to get a job, and to develop professionally in the job that you have. So please call Sacramento Works and see how they can help you. Today's show is called Healthy Habits. You're going to watch a show today on tips to get healthy and fit in 2010 for you and your family, and also beyond 2010 if this is a repeat show. It's so important that we revisit these lessons from time to time to reintroduce ourselves, to refresh our memory what it is to be healthy, and some tips that maybe the tips are review for you, or maybe it's something new that you're learning. We'll also do a little bit of vocabulary, and we'll watch a math DVD, Tools for Success, Part 2 with Susan Baggett. I'm looking forward to today's show. So in 21A, we talked about a really great website that I go to all the time called www.connectwithkids.com, and I introduced to you the topic of emotional overeating. Today, more and more teens are becoming overweight. A lot of kids are getting bullied more. You've heard recently in the news that a young lady had committed suicide because she was bullied by her schoolmates. And a lot of teens have a lot of social pressures to be thin, to be successful, either you get teased from being too smart, from not smart enough, pretty, not pretty enough, or whatever it is. I even got teased once in school for having a color of socks, some bright yellow socks on. I got teased the whole day about my socks. And what back then, it really does bother us. So remember what it was like to be a teen. And in this website here, in this article, they discuss how many teens use food to mask pain and the frustration of stress in school and social environments. And I know I did that for sure. I was so frustrated all the time, and I was already an overweight teen, so you just keep on using food to mask that pain. So if you know a child or you have a child that is acting out and maybe overeating, or they seem really stressed out about school or something happening in their lives, and you see them turning to food, it's really important to try to address it in a nice, helpful way. This is the advice of the psychologist in this article. And if you think about it, we either talk out our feelings or we act them out. When we have these feelings that we really want to resolve, and acting them out sometimes involves food. We eat food, we turn to sweets, or something that comforts us for that short amount of time. We can always go to the refrigerator, rely on something to make us feel better, just temporarily. And when you or your child, even for you, if you're having symptoms such as this, if you're taking out your anger and your frustration or depression on food, it's very important to address why, just to stop and write down the feelings in a journal. This is the advice of the psychologist on the website. So why do you do that? To link what is going on in your mind to what is going on in your belly. Sometimes we don't like to feel pain. We don't like to feel loneliness or frustration, so we just mask it. And sometimes we overeat because we're excited, or because we're in a social situation. We're at a Christmas party. I always overeat at Christmas parties. I eat things I would never eat at home because I have an opportunity to have them. Tons of cheesecake and cheese and sweets and cookies and things like that. So it's not only connected to negative feelings, but also positive feelings too. We can overeat. So tips for parents. Most people don't realize that they're eating because of emotional reasons until it's kind of late, they've gained a lot of weight, or they feel really bad about not only the situation that they're in that caused them to eat, but they also feel guilty and bad about eating. And in the last show, I gave you the quote from that teenager that said she was getting bullied at school, so she was getting teased because she was overweight. So she would go home and she would take out her sadness and her frustration on eating. She would eat and eat and eat. Then she would just gain more weight and get teased all over again. So it was a cycle. So here we want to recognize some warning signs of emotional overeating. And the first one is, if you're eating more than your body needs, it will be stored as fat. 3,500 calories approximately equals 1 pound of fat. So if you're eating more than 3,500 calories a week or a day or whatever, over time that will add up to pounds. So being overweight is a symptom. If you tend to eat alone, you want to hide the fact that you're eating, and I eat alone all the time because I am alone when I eat, but I mean when you eat alone, when you're eating large quantities or you're leaving a social situation so that you can go eat whatever you want so no one will watch you. Hoarding food is when you try to save up food for a later time because you don't want to miss the opportunity to eat it. And I used to do this a lot as a child because I was in a family of 5, and we would tear that refrigerator apart when my mother would come home from the store. So all of us would take the food that we wanted and hide it all around the house so the other person didn't get it. Kind of sad. If you eat really fast, if you're eating rapidly, what that's doing is a trigger that you're eating very fast. You're not really eating because you're hungry, because you need the nutrition, but because you're trying very quickly to stuff some feeling down. Or maybe you tend to eat fast in your family if everybody was eating fast, or there could be any reason that you're eating fast. But in this situation, according to the website, if you tend to eat rapidly all the time, what happens is you don't have that signal from your brain to your stomach that you're full. It takes about 10 to 20 minutes while you're eating to realize that your stomach is full. So if you take the time to slow down a little bit, then you'll tend to feel fuller earlier. Sometimes when you eat too fast and you end up eating too much and you don't realize until you're done that you didn't eat all that food. And then related to that, eating until you're uncomfortably full. when it's uncomfortable. You should be eating if you're trying to lose weight or maintain your weight, a lot of experts say to eat just until you're just about full, not quite full, because then 20 minutes later, you will get that signal from your brain to your stomach that it really was enough food. So sometimes it's helpful to put your fork or your spoon down between bites or have some sips of water in between your bites to fill that stomach up. And then we had talked about this just a couple of minutes ago. If you have feelings of guilt or depression after you eat, you realize, wow, I ate that whole entire pie. I feel so bad about myself. Then that could be a sign of emotional overeating. And this is a review from Monday's show. So experts say encouraging kids to express their feelings can lower a child's need to binge. Let them communicate to you if they're feeling frustrated. Ask your kids to draw pictures of how they're feeling and afterwards discuss the drawings. And it's another great thing to do is distract kids. You can get their attention in another direction. When children feel the need to binge, distractions may help. The American Dietetic Association suggests finding other things to do. For example, walking, riding a bike, or playing with the dog. Walking the dogs is such a nice thing. I always enjoy walking the dogs after dinner. Get up and walk around because I have a chance to burn some calories. My dogs love it. And if I stayed in the kitchen, I would probably have some more food. So I get up right away and walk the dogs. That's the thing that I do. Also, we talked about a great new initiative called Let's Move. This is the logo. And letsmove.gov is the website. And Let's Move is an initiative that's coming from the top, from the president. In fact, Mrs. Michelle Obama, President Obama's wife, is the woman who is really charging this program forward, leading people to understand that there is a problem with childhood obesity. And Let's Move's goal is to solve the problem of children gaining a lot of weight within one generation. Let's Move gives parents the support they need to offer healthier food in schools, help kids be more physically active, and make healthy, affordable food available in every part of the U.S. And we also talked about the presidentschallenge.org. I signed up for this. I just now entered my activity today. And you could earn points towards medals, a bronze medal, silver, and gold medals from the president if you participate in some type of activity. It's really easy to do. You can decide any activity that you want to do. There is even an activity for cleaning up around the house. There's an activity for walking. There's an activity for every single thing that you can think of. You can earn points towards one of those medals. So let me show you really quickly where I'm at. I haven't finished entering all my information, but let me show you the website. So I'm going to get out of this and I will go to the President's Challenge. Okay, so here I am. I've logged in and I have only started, let's see here, I started on just a couple of weeks ago and I need 20,000 points. I know it's hard to see, but it says here I need 20,000 points to earn a bronze award. And I have earned 8,665 points. And it tells me I am 43% of the way toward the goal of 20,000 points for a bronze award. Only 11,335 points to go. And it logs all of my activity. Today I wrote down that I did a yoga class. I've been bicycling, weight training. I've been doing household tasks, gardening, walking. So anytime I go walk the dogs for 20 minutes, you can log that here. In fact, let me do that for yesterday's date. I went walking my dogs. I'm going to click on walking. And the activity level, was it light, less than 2 miles per hour, moderate, 2 to 5 miles an hour or more? It was 2 to 5 miles an hour for 20 minutes. And then click Update Log. And I have earned a few more points. So excellent. All right, so that's the President's Challenge. Very easy to do. It helps you become accountable, and it helps you really keep track of all your activity, and it makes you look forward to doing activity because you can earn these really great awards. And you could also sign up with your friends, with your classmates, with your family members, and you can all participate, and it's a really, really great idea, and I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to get my medal. I'm actually exercising more than I normally would, and I'm really thinking, wow, you know, I could walk 5 more minutes and get 10 more points. So it really it definitely helps me and motivates me. Let'sMove.gov also focuses on areas such as healthy choices. This is the website, so you can visit the website. I showed that to you on the last show. So for the sake of time, I'll just do this as review. Tips for parents, healthier schools. They're really dropping a lot of money in these programs for healthier schools to provide more nutritious choices in schools. Also, physical activity. You and your children need at least 60 minutes every day. And if you can't do 60 minutes all at once, you could break it up. You could do maybe a walk around the block before school. During lunch, have a little activity. After dinner, on the weekends, get some extra time in. And also, one thing that I think is so important too is having access to affordable, healthy food. More than 23 million Americans do not live near grocery stores with fruits and vegetables. And that was definitely true for me in my neighborhood. We lived about 5 miles from the nearest grocery store and we didn't have a car. So it was very difficult for us to buy healthy food, but right behind our apartment was a McDonald's. It was literally, I could throw a rock and hit the McDonald's sign. And we went to McDonald's almost every single day, and I was very overweight. And I didn't really understand why until I started to educate myself and have a little more access to some healthier food as I grew up and out of that neighborhood. So it really is important to find and eat that affordable, healthy food. We also talked a little bit about grammar in the last show, using present conditionals, if and when. So I am just going to review quickly what that was about. The present conditional using if or when is when you have a present situation and it's something that's real that happens and you need to decide if to use the word if or when. And we use the present real conditional to talk about what you normally do in real life situations. So if in simple present tense, you're going to use if or when, simple present, or if and when, simple present, simple present. And let me just give you the example here because sometimes it's hard to see what that looks like. I usually order salmon when I go out for dinner. This is when, right? And if I get my oil changed to OK Tire, I eat lunch at the Noble Vegetarian Restaurant while I wait, which is an excellent restaurant. Love eating there. It's my excuse to go to OK Tire, by the way. But I don't often go, maybe once or twice a year. So when I go out for dinner, I usually, that means, quite often, I always order the salmon. And if I get my oil changed at OK Tire, I'll eat lunch at the restaurant. So we use if it's something that we don't normally do that much. And we use the word when it's an activity that we do more often. This is the general rule, so keep that in mind when you're writing or speaking in a professional situation. If I get a lunch hour tomorrow, I will go to the bank. That means I normally don't take a lunch hour or I don't get the whole hour, and I definitely don't go to the bank that much if I do get my lunch hour. This is something that happens more often. When I get home from the gym, I like to prepare dinner because I get home from the gym about 5:30 and I'm hungry. If I have money left over this month, I'll buy a new pair of running shoes. I don't often have money left over, but if I do this month, that's what I'm going to do with that extra money. So it doesn't happen that much. All right, so the unreal conditional, remember, is using only the word if. We don't use when in the present unreal conditional. The present unreal conditional is what we use to talk about an imaginary situation that has not happened yet, and we use the simple past, and we have to use the modal would. I would go to the mall if I had the time. So, or you can, in simple past, if I had, simple past the time, comma, I would, plus the infinitive, go to the mall. Let me show you some other examples. If I had more money, I would remodel my kitchen. I don't have more money yet, and my kitchen is not going to be remodeled. I don't have any concrete plans. This is just an imaginary dream situation for me if I had the money. And then using this tense, using the would plus the verb at the beginning of the sentence here, I would email the guy I met last weekend if I had his email address. I don't have his email address, so I can't email him. But if I had it, I would. That's an imaginary, present, unreal conditional, and we only use if in that situation. And why? Because if we use when, it would be grammatically incorrect. Example, I would buy a new car if I could afford it is correct, and you do not say I would buy a new car when I could afford it. We use if and present unreal conditionals. Okay, let's give it a shot here before we move on to our lesson. If I had another job, I will or would be able to pay off my credit card sooner. You don't have another job yet, and you haven't paid your credit card off yet, so this is a present unreal conditional, so we must use the modal would. Will means something that will be done in the future. In this situation, if I had another job, I would be able to pay off my credit card sooner, is the correct form of the present unreal conditional. All right, moving on to some healthier habits. So important to review, to learn about new healthy habits. And think honestly about where you're at in your life. I know a lot of you are out there working hard. You're taking care of yourselves and your family, all the things you have to do in your home, outside the home, just to maintain, just the status quo, just to maintain life as you can. But could you be healthier? We could all be healthier in some ways. We're not perfect in all ways in our diet or our exercise. So think about where are the areas where you can improve your diet. Where are some things falling through the cracks? Are you eating too much at night? Maybe in the daytime you start off great. I know I do. I always start my eating plans out great in the morning, and then at 7 o'clock I eat sometimes too much. What about not eating enough during the day? What happens then? That causes your metabolism, at the rate you're burning energy, to slow down. And when you're not eating enough during the day, when you do finally have that meal at night, you might eat all or too many calories during that meal. Let's talk about exercise. Are you burning as much as you're taking in? Are you eating a whole cheesecake and then not exercising? Are you burning as much as you're taking? It's simple science. 3,500 calories equals, give or take a couple, right? But that equals about 1 pound of fat. So if you burn 3,500 calories extra, you'll lose a pound of fat. And if you eat that amount, you'll gain a pound of fat over time. It's simple math, no magic pills. Save your money and walk around the block. Not eating healthy foods. Maybe you're exercising, but you're eating a lot of Big Macs, a lot of sodium, a lot of fat. What about drinking too many calories? Are you one of these people that loves to drink a lot of milk or a lot of orange juice, sodas? Lots of sugar and lots of calories in orange juice and fruit juices, even though they're all natural. Fruit is sugar, and we need that sugar, but it's better to eat the whole fruit so that we get those nutrients and the fiber too. So just a little glass of orange juice is about 100 calories, and it takes almost eating 2 oranges to have those same amount of calories. So let's look at some ways. Now, I got this information from Weight Watchers website. Weight Watchers is a really great program, in my opinion, because they teach you how to live a normal life and make healthy choices. I know there are a lot of other programs out there for losing weight, such as Jenny Craig or Nutrisystem or things like that. And in those situations, you have to buy the food that they make. And on the one hand, that's really great because you don't have to worry about your grocery lists or going out to eat or whatever. You're only eating what's put in front of you. But on the other hand, it's quite expensive. If you want to spend that money, you could. And also, it doesn't really show you how to go out into the real world and be practical. And some of these programs, after so many weeks, you can be introduced to the real food again. But from Weight Watchers, they start you from the beginning, what are healthy choices? And this is from their website, and I agree with these points. So let's look at some healthy ways, according to Weight Watchers, to be healthier and improve your diet. Number 1, eat at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables each day. Does that seem like a lot to you? What is a serving? Well, it's very important to eat fruits and vegetables. Every meal that you're eating, have some fruits and some vegetables. And it's quite easy to do, and I definitely try to make a point to do it. It's so important as these ingredients are so important to us. They're full of fiber, water, vitamins, and minerals for minimum calories. So they really are not that high in calories, most fruits and vegetables. But what did we talk about? A serving is a half a cup of something. It's very easy to eat a half a cup of strawberries, for example. So you could have 2 servings of strawberries in 1 cup. If you'd like to eat salad, 1 cup of leafy greens is a serving. So not too hard. If you think about in the morning, if you have plain yogurt with a cup of strawberries, or you have some fruit with your cereal in the morning, or you like me, I love to have eggs, egg whites and an egg yolk in the morning mixed with vegetables like a vegetable omelet. And then at lunchtime you can have some salad with some chicken. And for a snack you can have some yogurt and fruit. For dinner have some other vegetables. It's really easy to do if you just make the plan. And these are some things that I suggest, and also Weight Watchers does too. You can add vegetables to your eggs in the morning, just adding a tomato or a handful of spinach. It cooks down really fast, some mushrooms. And also you can have salads more often. Salads are really great. Going to restaurants now, especially out here in Sacramento, lovely, great restaurants. And every restaurant that I've ever been to in Sacramento offers great choices for fruits and vegetables, including salads. And one thing that I think is really great to do is to, instead of buying those sugary yogurts that have the fruit at the bottom, you can just buy plain fat-free yogurt. It's cheaper and there's no sugar in it, and you can mix fresh or frozen fruit and maybe a packet of Splenda or a little bit of honey, something like that. So it's all natural, a lot less sugar, and a lot less expensive. And it's a great way to get your fruit into your diet. And also calcium too. We'll talk about calcium in just a few minutes. Number 2, choose whole grain foods whenever possible. You hear a lot more about whole grain breads and why should you eat wheat versus white. Well, when you eat wheat flour and oat bran and those types of grains, they are full of fiber and nutrients, and they make you feel fuller, and they digest slower than white flour products. And also, the more fiber you have in your diet, the more regular your digestive system is. And also, when you're eating fiber, especially oatmeal, it kind of acts as like a vacuum, pushing all these toxins and all the waste products out through the system. So eating fiber is really important. It helps move food out of the system faster, and it makes you feel fuller. When you mix fiber and drinking water, you can really fill up fast. So it's much more important. And white flour doesn't have those vitamins and minerals that the whole grain foods do. So look for cereals and grains fortified with B12, which is vegetarians don't often get this because it's found in certain quantities in cereals and grains and organ meats. But when we eat the red meats and things like that, we also have the cholesterol and the fat as well as the B12. So you're trying to get something in your diet that's low fat, high fiber, and fortified with B12. Or you can take a B12 supplement, which I do. And there are lots of choices out there now, so many more choices than there used to be, even just 5 years ago. So switch to whole grain breads and crackers. Use whole wheat flour instead of white in baking. I promise you will hardly miss it. They even have a product, especially at Trader Joe's. I just bought some last week. You can buy whole wheat flour, but it's called white whole wheat flour. So it's still whole wheat flour, but it's ground really, really fine. So it tastes and it looks just like white flour, but it's not bleached, and it still has all the vitamins and minerals. Sometimes when you use whole wheat flour, that you have that really heavy, dense feeling, or it tastes, almost like pencil shavings. There's that smell. But if you can find white whole wheat flour, organic whole wheat flour, it tastes great, and you'll get used to it. Then after a while, you won't miss that white flour. So that was number 2. Number 3, include 2 servings of milk products each day. 2 servings, and a cup is 1 serving. Non-fat and low-fat dairy products have protein, zinc, riboflavin, vitamin D, and calcium, all very important to support our bones, our immune system, regenerating cells, repairing tissues, and also providing energy and building blocks for our muscles. Calcium helps strengthen bones and may protect against colon cancer and high blood pressure. A lot of people who have high blood pressure and take high blood pressure pills are often advised to also take a calcium supplement to really help. So it's double whammy there. And calcium helps strengthen our bones. Because once we have bone loss, it can be replaced over time, but we don't want to get to that point. So calcium supplements really help. If you have a problem with lactose, which is one of the sugars found in milk, if you're lactose intolerant, you can still get your calcium. You can consider lactose-reducing pills or products. They have lactose-free milk now, or you can take the calcium supplement. there are lots of options for you to get that calcium. And also sesame seeds have a lot of calcium. Leafy greens such as spinach and collard greens. Sunflower seeds have calcium. Lots of great sources, soy milk, soybeans. So it's not just dairy products. But it's a great way to get all of your calcium, just 2 servings a day. It's also important to drink water every day. Water is essential for just about every one of our body's processes, from digestion to elimination, staying hydrated, the lubrication of our joints and our ligaments, the health of our eyes, our speech, our brain function. Everything that we do, we need water. Not soda, not orange juice, not the Crystal Light. Of course, you can do that, but you really should try to drink at least 6 glasses of water each day. And Weight Watchers does say you can count caffeine-free, sugar-free beverages like caffeine-free tea, but still try to drink water, because beverages such as tea and coffee, they do sometimes dehydrate you, even though they do provide a liquid into your system. So if you really, some people out there don't like to drink water, and I know a lot of people who just don't like it, so they like to mix it with something else. And if that's what you really have to do, that's fine, but try to make it a sugar-free, caffeine-free alternative. All right, and it's very helpful too just to carry a water bottle with you wherever you go. If you're in the car, I always keep a bottle of water in the car. I always keep a bottle of water at work, or an empty water bottle to fill it up. And once you're thirsty, remember, if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. And let me just show you, I have water here at my desk all the time, and I'm pretty thirsty right now. I rode my bike to work today because I'm trying to get my bronze medal. So I always end up being a little thirstier than normal when I ride my bike to work. So carrying a water bottle with you is a great way to also reduce the use of plastic. You don't need to just drink bottles of water and throw them away. You can just keep one with you the whole time. And you always make sure you get at least 6 glasses of water a day. That's the minimum. I drink 6 glasses of water before 7 a.m. in the morning when I teach my yoga class. And I'm really thirsty after that. So number 5, it's very important to eat some healthy fats every day. And you would think, well, if I want to lose fat, why should I be eating fat? But the only way that you really can burn fat is if you eat some healthy fat. Now, why is that? Well, this is not a nutrition class, but it is very important to include monounsaturated or polyunsaturated fats in your daily diet, because you need that fat to lubricate your joints. You need that for proper functioning of the brain. And also it helps us to have some fat in our systems so that we can keep the processes moving in the digestion, the elimination, keep things kind of lubed up like oil in your car. Not too much, but just the right amount, right? And what does it mean when I say monounsaturated or polyunsaturated fats? Well, this is not a chemistry class either, but it has to do with how many molecules are in a chain of a fat cell or of fatty acids. Just remember that a monounsaturated or the polyunsaturated fats, the healthy fats, are liquid at room temperature, such as peanut oil, olive oil, avocado oil. When you think about butter and lard and shortening, those fats are solid at room temperature. And when you're eating something that has that solid fat, that's what's going to be in the lining of your arteries, and what can eventually cause constricting of the arteries, because you're just building a bunch of plaque along those walls of your veins and arteries. So you want to eat the fat that's liquid, that can move through and pick up all those toxins and carry it out of the system. So healthy fats. Examples of healthy fats are in fish, such as salmon and tuna, nuts, olives, walnuts, pistachios, seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. Olives, a great source of a good fat. Avocados, one of my favorite foods in the world, and vegetable oils. Now just a little bit. It depends on your weight, it depends on your height, but you don't want to have a whole lot of fat in your diet, maybe 10 to 20% of your diet, depending on your goals and where you're at. So I'm not a doctor. If you have any questions about this, talk to your doctor. And as I mentioned, you do need healthy fats. It helps you digest food, and really importantly too, you need fat to help absorb vitamins into your bloodstream, into your colon, into your organs. also helps lower cholesterol by removing all that plaque along the arterial walls, and it helps lubricate our joints and helps protect our bodies from injury. Oh, just moving along. Number 6, make sure you get enough lean protein. Protein is the building block of muscles. Protein is what we need to have strong muscles to protect our bones and our organs. It's needed to keep a healthy weight. If you eat a lot of flour, a lot of pasta, a lot of cake, and not enough protein, I really doubt that you have good, strong muscles. And it's also important to know that the more protein that you have in your system, the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. How much protein do you need? There used to be lots of different formulas out there, and there still are. It depends on your goal. If you're a bodybuilder or a power lifter, you might need more protein than someone who just likes to walk. But the research that I've found suggests multiplying your body weight by 0.37, and that's the number of grams. Okay, I'm talking about grams of protein. So if you look on a can of tuna, for example, it might be 21 grams of protein, and maybe if your body weight is like 120, and you might end up needing 45 grams of protein a day. So in that one can of tuna, you might get half your protein. But now say, for example, you're training for some type of race, or you do lift weights a lot, or you do something that really requires more stamina and more muscles, and you might need a little bit more. What I talked about earlier was that you will burn more calories if you have more lean mass. And it takes 43 calories for your body to maintain a pound of protein. So the more muscles you have, the more your calories you're burning to keep that muscle there and keep it full. But it only takes 3 calories to maintain a pound of fat. Why is that? Because your fat is extra calories. You don't need the extra calories to keep those calories going. The fat in our bodies that we have that's excess is there in case of if we're starving or something happens, we have that extra fat we can pull from if we need to. So we don't need extra calories to maintain that fat. That's our store. But if you do have a muscle, it will get weaker if you don't keep eating that protein. So examples of lean protein, not fattening pepperoni, sausage, stuff like that. Skinless chicken, soy products like tofu, I love tofu. Fish, eggs, beans, peas, lentils, and those dairy products we talked about. Skim milk, non-fat yogurt, and egg whites are a great source of protein too. You could also get protein powders from the health food store. Whey supplement is a good example of one. Okay, moving along. Number 7, another great way to become healthier is to let's cut out the excess sugar in our diets and the excess alcohol. Limit added sugar and alcohol. Why? Because sugar and alcohol are high in calories and they're very low in nutrients, and those are called empty calories. One bottle of beer is, average 130 calories. That is a lot of calories for no nutrients at all. If you took, for example, let's see, spinach, which is really high in nutrients but low in calories. I think maybe 1 cup of spinach is about 20 calories. You know how many cups of spinach you would need to eat 130 calories? You would never be able to eat that much spinach in a day, but you would drink that in 1 beer. Of course, we like to have our drinks now and then. I understand that we're only human, but we can limit our sugar to no more than 5% of our diet. So think about your calories. Think about maybe instead of having a whole piece of cake, how about you just have, just a couple of bites, take a sip of milk and see how you feel? Or maybe we can replace some of that sugar with low-calorie packets such as Splenda, or Stevia is another one, or we can just limit it altogether. One of the things I like to do is if I'm craving like a coffee, I love going to Starbucks and having the mochas and all that. But now I buy sugar-free coffee candy. So I just say, whenever I'm in the mood for that, I just have some candy or some sugar-free gum, something like that to help get your mind. So you have that taste of sugar, but you don't have the calories. And we're trying to limit our alcohol to no more than 1 drink a day for women or 2 for men. Some of you don't drink at all. Some of you will drink just maybe 1 or 2 times a week, maybe more than 1 drink. We're just trying to say to limit that sugar and alcohol is a really great way to be healthy. And so many diseases come from drinking. Liver problems, heart problems. Oh gosh, pretty much every organ can be affected negatively by too much alcohol because alcohol is a poison in the body. that has to be filtered out through the liver. So that's a whole other class. But limit sugar and alcohol. And also when you drink alcohol, it tends to suppress the part of your brain for logic and reasoning. So it's very easy to go off of our healthy eating plan and eat those fattening or sugary foods. I know sometimes if I'm out late at night with my friends after a couple of beers and my friends say, let's go to Lyons or IHOP and let's have some pancakes and french fries and ranch dressing, and I go, yeah, let's go. I would never do that. But, you know, sometimes when you let your guard down, you're hanging out with friends, it's easy to do that because you're in a nice, you know, positive environment or happy mood. And finally, but we were trying to limit that, finally, supplement your diet with a high-quality multivitamin. If you're not sure you're getting all the nutrients and the vitamins that you need, it's very easy to ensure that you can get all those vitamins with a nice high-quality multivitamin. And you want to look for something that gives you 100% of the RDA, which is the recommended daily allowance of nutrients. Try to purchase supplements that are natural or from organic ingredients. That's very easy to do. Vitamin Shop has a great line of vitamins. Whole Foods. And I think that that would be quite easy to do. So those were the healthy habits, 1 through, how many was that? 1 through 8. If you have any questions about these, you can refer to Weight Watchers, you can refer to your physician, and I hope that you enjoyed that. I would like to move right along now and make sure that I show you a little bit of a math DVD, and we'll do some vocabulary at the next show, okay? So, we're going to watch one of my very favorite instructors of all time, Susan Baggett. She does such a great job of teaching math. She had a series for a long time on this channel called Tools for Success. And she did 2 math DVDs, and they are both available at Sunrise Tech Center, and they come with a workbook. So we're going to watch part 2 of Math 2. So enjoy the show, get your paper and pencil ready, and I'll see you back in a little while.
Fractions, let's just take a look at what you can do. 2/3, let's take this, times 1/5 times 2/5. Okay, take a look at that. Is there anything we can do before we multiply across? Even though we've got more than just 2 fractions, we've now added another fraction. We do the same thing. We can multiply straight across. Can we cross cancel? Will 3 go evenly into 2? No. Or will 2 go into 5? No. So we can't do any cross canceling here. But we go straight across. 2 times 1 is 2, times 2 is 4. And then we've got 3 times 5 is 15 times 5. Or I'm going to look at it this way. 5 times 5 is 25, times 3 is 75. That's just a little bit easier for me to take a look at. And in my mind, I can do this in my head if I do it that way. 5 times 5 is 25, times 3 is 75. And we can't do any more reducing. That's the answer to that one. Let's try another one with 3 fractions. And I know we're moving pretty quickly, but we want to get through a lot of material today. Let's try this. We have 5/9 times 1/5 times 3/4. I'm going to have you take a look at that for a moment. Can you see any cross canceling that you can do? Can you see any cross canceling? And I'm hoping you're seeing lots of possibilities. I imagine right off you can see that 5 will go into 5 one time, and it will go into that 5 one time. Now, do we have anything else? And we can go across this way, all the way over to that one. 3 will go into 3 one time, and it will go into 9 3 times. So now what do we have? 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. 3 times 1 is 3, times 4 equals 12. And we've got 1/12 is our answer. Now look at how large these numbers would have been. If we hadn't cross-canceled, 5 times 1 is 5 times 3, we would have had 15. 9 times 5 is 45 times 4. We've had a huge number. You would have had really large numbers over there, and then you would have had to kind of rack your brain to see whether you could reduce them down. So cross-canceling really helped you a lot to get to that point. Okay, we've done some work with multiplying fractions. Now let's take a look at dividing fractions. Let's go into some division work. And again, we don't have to worry about common denominators, but take a look. We've got one little rule you've got to remember when you are dividing fractions. When you're dividing fractions, what we're going to do is rewrite this problem, and we're going to use the reciprocal of the fraction that we're dividing into. So we've got 2/3 divided by 1/2. We're going to use a reciprocal of this half, and watch what we do. It ends up being 2/3 times the reciprocal, and we flip that fraction around, and now we're ready to work the problem. So 2/3 divided by 1/2, we rewrite the problem 2/3 times 2/1, and now we can work the problem. 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 1 is 3, and that equals what? 3/3 equals 1 whole with 1/3 left over. And there's our answer on that fraction. There's our answer on that one. And that's as easy as it is with division, just remembering to flip your fraction. Remember, you're working with the reciprocal. And I just think it's easy. Just remember, flip the fraction when you are dividing. Let's take a look at another one. What if we have 5/8, and we're going to divide it by 15/16? What we're going to do is rewrite it 5/8 times, and then flip the fraction. And that's all you have to remember. Remember to flip your fraction. Now, we could go straight across, and look, we'd have large numbers again. 5 times 16, 8 times 15. But what can we do? Right away, take a look. Cross-canceling is going to really be helpful here. 8 will go into 8 one time and into 16 two times. 5 will go into 5 one time, and it'll go into 15 three times. So now, it should be very simple. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. And we end up with 2/3. Okay, isn't that fun? I just think fractions can actually be a lot of fun. And just remember, when you're dividing fractions, just remember to flip that second fraction and then multiply. Okay, let's take a look. What if we're using some whole numbers with our fractions? What if we want to divide 12 divided by 3/4 equals? And what are we going to do? We want to change that whole number into a fraction, so it's very easy. We do 12 ones times, remember, we're dividing, and we're going to flip that fraction 4/3. And what is that going to equal? Let's look. We can cancel. 3 will go into 3 one time and into 12 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16 ones, and that's the same thing we know as 16. Okay? Let's try one more. That was pretty easy. Let's try one more. What about 9/25? Let's do it the other way around. 9/25 divided by, and let's have a whole number over here. What does that equal? Okay, let's rewrite the problem. 9/25 times, and what are we going to do? We've got to flip this around. This would be the same as 12 ones. So now we flip it 1/12. Okay. And do we have any cross-canceling that we can do? Yes. 3 will go into 12 4 times and into 9 3 times. So let's look. 3 times 1 is 3. And now what do we have? 25 times 400. So we have 3/100 is our answer. 3/100 is our answer. Okay, just remember to cross-cancel whenever you can. Okay, I hope you're finding that doing these fractions really isn't as tough as you thought it might be. Let's take a look at a mixed number, working with a mixed number, and let's multiply. Let's multiply using a mixed 3/4 times 1 1/3. And now here we're back to multiplication, so don't let that follow you up. We just worked with division. We're going back now, multiplying when we're using a fraction and a mixed number. When we're doing that, we've got to change our mixed number. That means we're working with a whole and a fraction. We have to change that to a fraction. So watch what we're going to do. We're going to, again, rewrite this problem, 3/4 times. The easiest way to do this is just take your denominator. 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 is 4, is the same as 4/3. 1 1/3, same thing as 4/3. Remember, we can just take this, when we go 3, we'll go into 4 one time, 1 1/3. So there it is. Easy way to find your fraction here is 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 is 4. 3/4 times 4/3. And now, what can we do here? We could go 3 times 4 is 12, and 4 times 3 is 12. Again, cross cancel, 1, 1, 1, 1. So what? Our answer is 1 here. Very easy. Very easy. Okay, working with mixed numbers. Okay, we're going to do one more. I want to make sure you've got this, and we'll probably work on one more multiplication, and we'll actually work on a division one too. What if we have 2 2/9 times 24 25ths? Look at, we can have some fairly large numbers here in our fractions. We can divide things into as many parts as we want. Okay, we're going to need to rewrite this. So we've got 9 times 2 is 18, and 2, this would be the same as 29ths. Look at what we did. 9 times 2 is 18, 19, 20. So we've got 29ths times 24 25ths equals. Take a look at that. These would be huge numbers if we multiplied these out. Let's look at cross-canceling. We know 5 will go into both 20 and 25. It will go into 25 5 times, into 24 times, and what will go into both 9 and 24? Hopefully you know 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 8 is 24. Now we can work the problem. 4 times 8 is 32. 3 times 5 is 15. So we have 32 15ths. Now, are we finished with that? No, we're not. 15 will go into 32 how many times? 15 will go, and we're going to move it over here. I'm hoping my cameraman can follow me here. 15 will go into 32 times, but we're going into 32. So we've got 2 and what? 2 15ths. That is our answer. That is our answer. So 15 15ths would be 1. 30 15ths gives us 2 whole ones, and then 2 15ths left. Let's do one more. I just want to make
Success Math 2. That DVD is available at Sunrise Tech Center if you'd like to see it in its entirety, and it comes with a great workbook that Susan put together. So nice to have those opportunities to review our fractions again and to refresh our memories, or to maybe learn it a different way. Just love Susan Baggett, love her teaching style, and we really miss her. So that was today's show, 21B Healthy Habits. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'd like to leave you with a quote of the day from Louisa May Alcott, who was a very famous novelist in the 1800s. She wrote Little Women. Does that look familiar to you, or does that sound familiar? And she said, "I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning how to sail my ship." And that is how we learn in life to be stronger. We have to go through those hard times, those challenges. So take what you learned in today's show and other shows that we have here on Essential Skills, and take that next step. Don't be afraid of those storms. You can be stronger, challenge yourself. Until then, have a great day, and I'll see you next time on Essential Skills.